A dead battery can leave you stranded, so get yours tested for free during Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Need a replacement? Purchase a Superstart Extreme or Superstart Platinum battery and get up to $25 in O'Reilly gift cards after a mail-in rebate. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Blog Talk Radio.
Here.
Hello?
Have you checked the children?
They're all hot dogs.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
I'm afraid.
Don't be afraid.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Here's Gingy.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you. Gentlemen.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face. The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
Have you checked the children?
Have you checked the children?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
I think he's in trouble. Julie, this guy, if he can't take a joke, he stinks.
There's no more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
Look, just a flesh wound.
Good evening, Flesh Wound Radio freaks. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Horror Society Presents Flesh Wound Radio. I am joined, as always, by Todd Loya. Todd, how goes the day, man? Still the day for you out there.
Yes, it is. I still have plenty left over here on the West Coast. It is good thus far. How about yourself?
I am doing fantastic. We've got some unique films tonight, which is always a good thing. We've got some retro and some new, which I'm actually really looking forward to talking about tonight, because we have one and actually, truthfully, a couple that have sparked some interesting debates online and with other horror personalities, friends of ours, and so it should be an intriguing mix of reviews. Definitely something you guys may want to weigh in on at some point. You know, what did you think, etc. I know in the synopsis I said, do they live up to the hype? And, well, you guys can be the judge on that. But yes, my week's been going good. We're still having contractors here every day, so I've been up early and woke. Now it's just trying to get to sleep with the smell of paint in the house, which can be kind of rough. So, but we're moving along. Hopefully, palm trees in the not too distant future for me down in Florida. Yeah. And I'll be able to do the show poolside rather than freezing like I usually am.
Yes.
So yes, bright sunny skies ahead for Flesh Wound Radio. So anyways, tonight, news-wise, is very, very sparse, but we do have a controversy, which I found very interesting. It's actually over the film Cabin in the Woods from Joss Whedon, who, of course, produced and co-wrote the film, and they are now facing a pretty hefty $10 million lawsuit due to copyright infringement, and it's, of course, over this 2006 novel, The Little White Trip, A Night in the Pines, from author Peter Gallagher. Apparently, there's some very similar stuff in there. It's almost to a point where even names are the same. God, I think they said dozen or 20 some similarities. I think the article had said, and I gotta be honest with you, Todd. Looking it over, I don't see how they couldn't have been ripped off. It's pretty damning. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I was like, wait, how long was that movie sitting on the shelf?
Yeah.
Because I don't think it was sitting there back to 2005, but yeah. It's funny, when I first read the article, I was like, I think it's like someone tripping off, because they had all their like versions of horror icons. There was the Pinhead and all that. I thought it was going to be something about that segment, not about the actual script and stuff.
Yeah, actually, me too.
But,
I was like, well, there could be a few lawsuits on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, because I know a lot of times different people have can have similar ideas, so far, but so different people can have different ideas in different places at similar times. That's not the first time that's happened. But with the different points, that makes it kind of, hard to argue. But you have to think, in even, X amount of years ago, you think they'd have to be smarter than to, try to get away with that?
Absolutely. And, Joss Whedon, I mean, my God, the guy, the Avengers, I mean, he directed one of the top grossing films of all time. I don't know, maybe it still is the top one. I haven't looked into that, and the guy's certainly been in Hollywood now for, over 2 decades. So you would think he'd be smart enough not to do this, but like I said, it's just almost, I think the names are like, in the book are like Julia and Dura, and in the movie they're Jules and Dana. There's very, you know what I mean? It's like they weren't even trying to hide it. And
yeah.
I don't know, but I've known of cases where, people take credit for other people's work. I mean, it's happened. It's happened to me. It's happened to, one of the best cases out there. I forget her name, but that Lillian Spider Baby chick that was banging Tarantino, who stole all those articles a couple years back. It happens. I guess some people just figure nobody's going to catch them.
The Hunger Games chicks got away with it.
Yeah, yes. Sometimes you do get away with it. I mean, like I said, I don't know this author. I've never even heard of the book, and it can be tough to file a lawsuit. I mean, it's time consuming, it's expensive. I have to say, I kind of hope he gets his money. I mean, it would seem $10 million's not that unreasonable with as similar as this has been. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I still love Cabin in the Woods, but it does sound like this guy deserves his credit for that. And
yeah.
We'll have to follow it. We'll definitely have to follow it. But yes, that's kind of the big controversy right now, and I don't know. It's sad. It really sucks when I don't want to. Not that I mean I'm a big fan of Joss Whedon, but when somebody out there just is so low that they can take credit for something they didn't even do. So I can understand the anger there, and I hope the guy gets his money. But in other news, Insidious Chapter 3 is apparently going to be coming out in 2 months and is now, of course, it's a prequel to the 2 previous movies, and they are planning 2 more installments should it be successful at the box office. Insidious, what do you think of what did you think of the last one in the franchise in general? I know I've talked to Chris in length about these films, but I don't know if I've ever gotten your opinion. Because I got to be honest, I never found the first one to be nearly as scary as people made it out to be.
No, I 100% agree. And speaking of plagiarism, I think that has a lot to Poltergeist. But with a little bit over the top special effects wise. I liked Lindsay's performance in the first one. I thought it was too over the top. But I enjoyed the second one better from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while. I'm not a huge fan of the franchise, but I do remember liking the second one better.
Yeah, I didn't hate either film, but it's one of those ones where I keep finding myself, talking to usually more mainstream horror fans that insist it was the scariest movie they ever saw, and I was just like, wow, you've got to see some more movies. I even throw out Dark Remains, the little-known 2005, 2006 ghost flick that nobody saw and is actually quite scary. Insidious, I didn't get it. It was a decent horror flick, but nothing more.
I don't think I've told you the story. Now I've told it to Chris. Okay, with all the hype of Insidious, my wife is not a big horror fan. She'll watch something once in a while. She wanted to watch it, so her and her friend were here, so we threw it on. When it was done, my wife looked at me and she was like, "That wasn't scary. What was all the hype about?" I was like, "Nothing scares me. I don't know. I didn't know it wasn't scary." And my wife, not. She has a low tolerance for scares, and I was like, okay, and that surprised me.
Is she into the supernatural stuff? Have an actual belief in it?
No, not really. I mean, she's open to the possibility, but I wouldn't say yes to that.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the only way I can explain it for some people. For me, there'd be more definitive proof. Not that I don't necessarily believe in the spirit world or whatever you want to call it. I just don't think that, it's something that we see or they're out to get us or even could do something to us. But I don't know. Just more definitive proof. And maybe that's where it all really comes from. We give decent reviews to a lot of these Hollywood ghost flicks because usually, more or less, they may be a bit been there, done that, but they're usually competently made. But right. I don't know. For me, I just don't have any real rooted fear in that. Now, you give me like a well-told home invasion story, that's scary because that's something that, can and does happen every day. Yeah. But I don't know. I just, like I said, I'm really looking forward to some of the non-ghost flicks that we have hitting theaters, like Bone Tomahawk, I believe it was called, cannibal flick that is actually going to hopefully be in theaters and not go the way of Green Inferno with the cast. I don't think we have to worry about it. So yes, that's Insidious. No real news bit there, but it just kind of struck me that we're getting yet more in that universe. Another kind of double bit of news with Rob Zombie. One hasn't been confirmed, and it may not be true, but there is a rumor that Rob Zombie is currently writing a animated version of the Hills Have Eyes, The Beginning origin story graphic novel, which I've actually read that, and it's pretty good. And of course, the novel, which came out in 2007, tells the story of the original families who refused to leave their small New Mexico town once the U.S. government began above-ground atomic testing. Spanning multiple generations, this dark tale reveals how these good people slowly devolved into murderous mutants. So Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not, but I have read it. It would actually make a really good sequel. Hills Have Eyes is something I keep thinking, God, why have we gotten so many wrong turn sequels at this point, and they haven't tried to do a direct-to-DVD Blu-ray Hills Have Eyes? The first one I thought was fantastic. I think it's one of the definitely one of the best, if not the best, theatrical horror film in the last decade. And the sequel was entertaining, certainly not on par with the first one. Mm-hmm.
It was better than Wes Craven's original sequel, so.
Yeah, that's true. Well, hell, I'm in the camp, and it's rare. I still think the Hills Have Eyes remake is better than the original Hills Have Eyes. It's we're comparing when they came out generation to generation. I think the remake really means more, or should mean more, to this generation of horror fans than the original really did, and judging it against the films that came out at the time. I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
I plead the fifth. I like them both. But the one thing I do have to say about this prequel, if it does happen, I can almost 100% guarantee we'll have Michael Berryman doing some voice work on it.
Oh, absolutely, as they very well should. I'm not animated, though.
Yeah, but as Rob Zombie's involved, he knows, he already works with Berryman on stuff, and he is, you got to do it. They could animate a new version of his Pluto. Jesus, his name jumped up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something I'd like to see if it's true. The other actual bit of Rob Zombie news is there's a new image out there for 31, which has completed filming, so we should be getting a trailer for 31 shortly, which I know you're looking forward to, and so am I. So yes, more Rob Zombie news always seems to spark. There was a random person on my feed, I'm not sure what, on my Facebook feed, that was like bitching about him doing an animated Hills Have Eyes sequel. I mean, it was just the most ridiculous rant that I've ever heard. It's just like, how do you, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm more give the movies a chance before you just crap on them. I think he's a fairly decent choice probably to tackle Hills Have Eyes. But anyways, a couple more news bits here. Sarah, not really a big surprise on this one, but Sarah Paulson is back for American Horror Story Hotel. She's going to be joining of course, Lady Gaga, who's kind of the one I think a lot of people are waiting to see in that one. Whether you're happy about it or not, it should be interesting. And is also going to be joining the returning Kathy Bates, Chloe Sevigny, Wes Bentley, Matt Bomer, and Cheyenne Jackson, among others. And this is going to be the first one without Jessica Lange, so she's going to be tough to replace because she's a hell of an actress. She's delivered memorable performances each season, so I don't know. I'm still kind of waiting for that new powerhouse to join the cast to kind of make up for her leaving, but we'll see. I'm still a big fan of that show, and I look forward to it. You're all caught up too, aren't you?
No, I'm still behind.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll probably be able to cover that. I don't think it should start until October, I believe. Yeah. The only last.
We'll have quite a bit of TV terror talk come October with Ash vs. Evil Dead, and that one zombie show comes back. Name escapes me. I hear it's pretty popular though.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I was like trying to think, like, what? Wait a minute, what are you talking? Oh, yes, obviously. Like, I already know about the ones on now. Yeah. Well, yes, of course, we're going to cover that. And the last bit of news, ironically, also TV Terror Talk. There's a new show debuting on ABC. Probably not going to get too much graphic sex. No American Horror Story nudity being the Disney station, but June 1st, ABC is going to be debuting The Whispers, and this film stars Lily Robb as Claire Bennigan, Barry Sloane, Milo Ventimiglia, Derek Webster, Kristen Connolly, and Kyle Harrison, and it's going to be produced by Steven Spielberg. And apparently the premise follows someone or something is manipulating the ones we love most to commit the unthinkable. In the country's center of political power, Washington, D.C., several kids have been talking about their imaginary friend, Drill. What the parents don't know is that Friend is not as imaginary as they think, and when the mysterious games Drill convinces them to play turn dangerous, FBI child specialist Claire Bennigan is called in to investigate. What is it that Drill wants, and why does he or it only communicate with children? As the clock counts down, a suspenseful race will begin to save not only their families, but the world. I'm kind of thinking more Lost 4400 than a out-and-out horror show, particularly on ABC, but it could be interesting. The cast is good. I mean, Milo Ventimiglia is actually a really damn good actor. The Divide and several other Pathology and several other good performances under his belt. So, and of course, another American Horror Story regular on there.
Yeah.
So yes, that's all I have in the way of news. Kind of a sparse day. There is actually one other news bit, but it kind of figures into your one of your solo reviews tonight.
Yes.
So we can hold on
that
we
can bring that up there. I did have one little announcement, promotion, whatever you want to call it, for a new web show that will be premiering on YouTube and Vimeo 4/20/15 this coming Monday, and it's called Creature Feature, and it features horror news reviews. The Human Horror Film Cafe, hosted by XPW wrestling legend, the Human Horror Film Supreme, a hardcore wrestling talk, rock and roll, and more. It starts 4/20. I'm sure we'll throw a link up to the show on our Flesh and Radio Facebook group, so anyone who wants to check it out, it's going to be a monthly show. I've heard some of the stuff they have planned. It sounds like it will be a cool monthly event, and we are hoping to have the host on very shortly, so we'll make an announcement when we get everything confirmed. So,
absolutely. I take it Rob Van Dam is going to be the first guest. Kind of would make sense.
Yeah, well, not to get anyone's hopes up, it's not.
Well, hey, it doesn't always work out, but the date, kind of makes sense.
So when you're done watching Evil Bong 4, you can watch Creature Feature, or vice versa, watch Creature Feature, then Evil Bong 4.
Absolutely. And, we look forward to, God, Supreme is, I haven't seen him live since PW days, but he is one crazy, talented son of a bitch for sure, and still is. I have great memories from the XPW days. Mm-hmm.
And for really here, he makes a mean, hardcore jalapeno meatloaf.
Wow, that'd be interesting to try that. That'll be really cool. Like I said, I know you have obviously much more history with the California indie scene, but I was definitely a big fan. I was there for some of those death matches. Jesus Christ, I still not, of course, this is Grimes, but I still remember the scaffold match and the tournaments. I mean, my God, that the live shows. I hope XPW comes back and maybe we can ask him about that, because it's still some of the most memorable times I've had at live wrestling shows. And we need it really, all these alternatives, and my wrestling rant will end soon, I promise. I'll save it for that show, but it's for all these alternatives they're offering us, really just get something adult, non-PC. You know, there really is nothing truly doing that right now, and I think XPW could do it.
Well, we do have UEW right now, who's in the beginning of the movement. It's really gaining steam, and that's Underground Empire Wrestling. And there is a weekly show for them too via the web. It's also on Vimeo and on their website, and it's good. I'll have to give you a couple episodes you should definitely check out. They air every Tuesday at 6, although there was a technical issue, or not a technical issue, the voice had lost his voice, so the episode's actually going to go up tomorrow at noon for the 10th episode. So this will be the 10th week in a row there is an alternative product, so it is.
Absolutely, yeah. You have to dig for it, just like horror. You've got to dig for it and really discover your quality indie promotion. I'm unfortunate. I mean, I'm looking forward to, obviously, Florida. I'll probably definitely be an NXT guy among other companies I'll attend more regularly. Right here, it's shit. Right here, there's nothing local. I kind of have to go out to Pennsylvania if I really want to see a quality wrestling show. So yes. So anyways, moving on to our first review, which is a solo. Todd did not get to see The Burning Dead, and this film follows Native American warrior Nightwolf, played by Danny Trejo, who issues an ominous prophecy to the people surrounding Devil's Peak, warning them of the volcano's ancient curse. Suddenly the peak erupts, raining the undead corpses of long-dead settlers who were swallowed in the mountain's fires upon the countryside. Now everyone nearby must flee from the lava while fighting off the burning zombies brought back to life by the ancient curse. Well, that sounds cool, doesn't it, Todd?
It does.
Danny Trejo versus volcano zombies. How could you go wrong? It went wrong. This movie's a shit pickle, if ever I saw. And I got to throw it out again. Danny Trejo is keeping this trend up of making the cover of these films that he is literally in for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, if that. This is another Danny Trejo cameo flick where I think he worked on the movie for a day, and that's maybe where most of the budget went. I had a good feeling about this one. I was like, it has an original premise, and a game star. We all love Danny Trejo when he's actually in the movie, but he's just not in this one. But having said that, that's not my only issue. I award it points for being an original zombie concept, which is rare. I mean, it's also a period piece, which is, at least in parts, which is a dangerous thing to do on a low-budget film. It opens up in 1846, and you see the mountains, California mountain area, and it starts off fairly decent. We get to see some practical effects, actually quite a bit of practical effects in this one, which is a good thing for a sci-fi channel-style movie. It's rare to see Romero-style gut-ripping, which makes up a good bulk of this. Unfortunately, there is some shoddy CG when the zombies sort of evaporate, and some of the lava stuff is typical sci-fi channel fare. very unconvincing effects, but I appreciated old school gut ripping. The zombies, though, are pretty goofy. They are, I don't know quite how to describe it, but you kind of have the typical looks, but they're kind of fast, and not that I mind fast zombies, but they're just very clumsy and just unconvincing to me. The film, actually, being more original on the zombie side of things, they rip off several major disaster flicks, including Dante's Peak with the crotchety old man, in this case, refusing to evacuate the mountain. There's all these different characters. They do a good job of establishing quite a few different characters in here, but the acting's just terrible. There's, you've got the mom who's trying to reconnect with the crotchety old dad on the mountain, the sheriff who kind of has a crush on her, and then probably worst of all, you've got her rebel daughter and nerdy boyfriend who were just horrible to watch. There's just some god-awful acting in this one. You've got all the standard disaster movie cliches from the volcano experts, who are probably the most unrealistic people I would actually expect to work in the science field. Just stupid romance subplots, really crappy attempts at drama with the family. It just all felt high school play level to me. Lots of character development, but when you don't care about the characters, that's not much to say about it. And as far as Trejo goes, Trejo never fights a single zombie. Trejo is there for a couple minutes at the beginning telling a campfire story to, I believe they were supposed to be his grandkids or something. He's in it for a minute or two, and then he's in it. And this is a direct spoiler, but honest to God, it's not a part of the movie, the whole storyline anyways, so I don't think anybody will hold it against me, but it just cuts to him at the very end when the movie is over, and he doesn't even fight a zombie. A zombie pops out at him. So that's what you get with Danny Trejo. It pretty much just kind of grabs him, and we cut to the credits. Again, sorry if you consider that a spoiler. I kind of consider that more of a warning in this case. So the whole marketing campaign of Machete tangling with zombies is just not there. And the movie's not very good anyways. It's just, I don't know, I can't think of one thing to recommend it except for maybe one or two unintentional laughs, which honestly, that's all I was hoping for. I didn't have high hopes for something that was originally called Volcano Zombies, but I don't know. We do get a little bit of nudity, though, Todd. There's a random scene of this hot Asian model who, for no reason that I can gather, was taking pictures of herself topless on top of the volcano. So that's, at least we get brief. It does. It's time down there in California, I'm sure. But, brief boobs, but it's not reason enough to pick this up. It's not quite to the level of a 0, but I can only really give this 1 star. There's no reason for you to pick it up for Danny Trejo or even just being a zombie fan. It's not scary. The makeup is just kind of blah, gray-faced, kind of old school, which is, fine and good, but, nothing that interesting. There were a couple moments where they were wearing, kind of looked like they were wearing cheap masks, so it just didn't work. It gets 1 star for me, and hopefully you can avoid it. You might be able to make a mystery science theater night out of it, though, possibly, but I don't know. I can't say I laughed too much during it. So that's Burning Dead. definitely skip that one. I don't know, Todd, do you want to get your solo out of the way, or what should we do next?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay.
We can throw in a bit of the news we had held off on. All right, for the synopsis. Sorry, I was having trouble with that one. The teachers at Lincoln High have a very dangerous problem. Their students. Andrew Norris is an idealistic and naive music teacher, has moved into a new community with his pregnant wife, Diane, only to find his new job is an academic abyss. Appalled by the crime-infested school, Norris soon crosses paths with its teenage kingpin, the shrewd and sadistic Peter Stegman, which Norris, setting his sights on reforming Stegman and the young punk declaring war on his teacher, the duo is on a collision course for a fateful showdown. Directed and co-written by Mark L. Lester from Commando, Class of '99 fame, Firestarter. I know there's Truck Stop Women. I know there's one for Dan. And it was co-written by Tom Holland. Do I have to go over his list of credits? Fright Night, Child's Play, Psycho 2. Yeah.
You left out Pterodactyl, though, for Lester, I'm just saying.
I was trying to be nice.
Julio's best film, I think.
Well, I don't know. He was in the convent. I mean, probably about as long as Trejo is in yours, but I mean, it's notable for having Michael J. Fox, one of his earliest roles. Of course, the awesome Roddy McDowall. But okay, that's enough about the synopsis. The film itself from 1981. This is definitely, a classic in my opinion. Story holds up so well, even though it's funny looking back. 81. If we don't change now, this is going to happen in every school, and it pretty much has. And it's actually kind of tame compared to some of the stuff today. Honestly, the film's a classic. I don't know how you feel about this one, Dan.
I agree.
But yeah, it's. I mean,
they didn't get the teacher fucking though down. There was a lot of that. They didn't call it.
Yeah, I know. We didn't even get that in Class of 1999.
No. I was going to say there's been quite a bit. I don't know. Maybe there was teacher fucking back in the early '80s. I wasn't quite around yet, but they didn't call that one.
Not like now. But geez, it's so much about the film itself. It's a classic. It's it could be considered a high school Clockwork Orange, almost like a Death Wish type. For the high school kids, it's definitely stood the test of time. I'm trying to think how much information I want to get into. I mean, it's got. I know it was a little rough at the time because of there is a rape scene in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, overall the feature. I mean, honestly, I'm more about the features on this one because this is a new Shriek Show special edition. The movie itself, I'm just gonna get out of the way.
You mean Scream Factory?
What did I say?
You said Shriek Show. I was just pointing out the.
Jeez,
it actually came out, so it's not Shriek Show.
Yeah, that's not the first time I've done that. I don't know, but some people would say with the current encodes of some of their stuff, they are more on that lines, but that's a whole nother message board rant for everyone right now. Scream Factory, the movie's a classic. I mean, it's hard for me to rate and even review the film, but I mean, I guess I'll kind of in the vein of the review. It should be noted, this is not a typical horror film. It's more of a revenge. I can't even say a revenge movie. Us against them, the rebellious teachers. I mean, the rebellious students. I mean, they do compare it to A Clockwork Orange in some of the language they do, but I think, I mean, it's even compared to the whole Godfather scenario too.
Yeah.
It is. That's the thing. It is under the Scream Factory label, and I think it deserves it. But it is not, a typical horror film. It's more of that realistic horror. I mean, because if you're in this teacher situation, it would be hell. So I do want to have a note of that it's not. If you're going in looking for a bloodbath, it's not. I mean, when we get to the end, it's a different. We get the violence, but I mean, it's. I think I'd compare more to like a Death Wish. Kind of got to wait for that. I should say Death Wish 1, because by the time we get to Death Wish 3, we're getting violence everywhere. So the movie itself, I'm just doing it. I'm giving it a 5. It's a classic. It holds up well. It's definitely one I'd recommend. Transfer itself, it's a solid transfer. I'd give it a 4, 4.5. I mean, and that's not me because it doesn't look new. It's just transfer-wise. It could look a little, I don't even want to say a little better, but it's a solid transfer. Extras, the meat of this release, the reason, we really threw this one in. First and foremost, I do want to say everything from the Anchor Bay disc has been ported over. The commentary, the Blood and Blackboards, the 35-minute documentary that Anchor Bay produced for the original special edition DVD release, which I have to say, watching this now, it's funny because it's probably about 7 years old, but it just felt so dated watching it. Everyone looks a lot younger in that, and
Michael J. Fox wasn't shaken yet, and
No, I honestly wish we get him to say something on this one, but sadly they couldn't do it, and Scream couldn't pull it off either. But Scream couldn't even get Pamela Springsteen.
Type that would. I mean, why not? I mean, it kind of launched his career. I mean, I don't know. I never watched his sitcom, so I'm not sure when that actually debuted. But
I did, and they were. Yeah, I think he might have. It's weird because some of the stories and different from the new doc to the old one kind of contradict, because one say it's right before, one say it was during, but maybe before the show actually debuted. There's no denying it was before he blew up as a star. But so time-wise, I'm not sure. They're pretty much the same time. And then we also have the photo gallery, of course, the trailer and TV spots. So we're getting the ported stuff out of the way. And then we start with the meat of the release. First up is The Girls Next Door with Lisa Langolis, who played Patsy, and Aaron Noble, who played Deneen. Jeez, I can't even read my own writing on this one. Which runs about 16 minutes, and it's interesting. Lisa talks about how she was offered the nice girl role, but she wanted the other role to show she could do something different. I mean, it's a really good interview with the era, and we get I don't want to say a lot of new information, but there's enough new information to make this 16-minute featurette kind of blow by, and we left me wanting a little bit more, but it was a solid one. And then there is followed up by History Repeats Itself with director Mark Lester and Lilo Schifrin, who did the music. Kind of a weird pairing, I thought. I mean, with the director and the guy who did the music. But there is some new information here. It was nice to see a new on-screen with Mark Lester, and I definitely think this was probably my favorite new feature on the disc. And followed up with the longest new extra, running 46 minutes, Do What You Love, with Perry King, who played the lead, Andrew Norris. And at 46 minutes, I don't know if it goes without saying, but I will say, it focuses pretty much on his whole career. And until we get towards the end and talk about Class of '84. But honestly, there was some good. It was a really good listen with the 45 minutes. He kind of gives his advice on, life, how he got started, his whole career, how he got his break. And I have to say, it's definitely was cool. He talks about now being really cool with the violence in the movie. Even at the time, he had a couple of problems with, I guess, a little bit of a spoiler. There's an arm getting sawed off or some stuff with the saw. He wasn't comfortable, but they talked about that. And it didn't sound like he regretted it because, he did a 46-minute interview. But he talks about the violence being a little harsh, for him now. But
which is strange.
Which is strange?
Well, just in general, because this, as you said, I haven't watched this in at least a few years. I haven't picked up the new disc yet, but I plan to. It's really pretty tame. Unusually tame, particularly in a classroom environment where in some places, I know teachers. It's got, my mom has been a teacher. It's gotten quite horrible. It's I don't know if this movie really, if you've never seen it, if it's going to really shock you or hold up. I hate, this is one I've always taken heat for, and it's probably just because of the fact that I saw it first, actually, when I was a kid. I've always liked Class of 1999. Maybe it's Pam Grier. I've always preferred that one.
As long as you don't say Part 2.
Yeah. No.
I'll admit freely, I saw 99 first, and that's why I rented 84.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
It took me a minute for 84 to grow on me because when I first saw it was right after 99, and I was like, okay, so I'm going to get something similar, and it's not similar. It's a different movie. But it took a few years for that one. As I got older, I grew to appreciate 84, and so I get that. I'm a big fan of 99 also. It's a different movie, but it's tremendously fun.
I just never was a big Michael J. Fox fan. I don't know. I just always found he's Michael J. Fox. He's not, he's not. I love The Frighteners and certain things he's done for sure. But as an actor, I don't know. Never was a big fan of his.
He plays one character.
Yeah.
Which he's not the only one. There's a lot of them, but that tends to be the superstars that tend to do that. Bruce Willis plays Bruce Willis, Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. The list goes on and on. There was one interesting thing. Well, there's quite a few, but one of the things they do explain in the Mark Lester interview how it came to be self-distributed, which was actually an interesting story. He said he told for the first time because it almost ended up with Warner Brothers. And another one, how the end. No, I believe this is in the older one, in the Blood and Blackboards. How because of the ending, how he had to add a few seconds of film just to make the ending work, and it was an interesting story. I definitely, if you've never seen the original documentary, that's a good one, 36 minutes. So the whole package overall, I was very satisfied. I went in there not expecting Michael J. Fox interviews or anything, but it's a good overall package. I give the overall package 4.5, just averaging out the movie and the transfer and the extras. So I definitely recommend it. And I guess you want to do our little news bit about it? I don't have it in front of me, so I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Absolutely. Well, it's a pretty simple news bit, but Mark Lester was recently interviewed, and apparently he's writing a remake for the Class of 1984, which should be interesting, because my question is, you kind of have to change the name, don't you?
Well, no. Yes. Okay. See, here's the thing.
Unless he's going way into the future.
Because they don't really, because I didn't read that, but yes, it's in the interview. He says he's working on it now, And, you know, it could be a remake as in almost like 99 is like the modern take on it. See, I kind of wish he wouldn't have even used that word because that's going to already turn people off. Because he said he wants to set it in a private school because if you did the same things now, people won't believe it. A kid shows up at the school, now the way schools are, you get sent home. It's not like in 84, people were just like, deal with it. It wasn't the same as now. Someone shows up with a knife, they're getting expelled. I mean, all that stuff that happened. But you set it in a private school, and it's like the money's trying to pay it off. Oh, no, he's staying there. Here's more money. So that actually makes sense. I mean, it's setting it in a private school. And, you know, beyond that, that's really what he said in the featurette about setting it now. But, of course, it can't still be class of 84. I mean, class of 2020, who knows? You know? Yeah. Yeah, I don't. It's a kind of a tricky, I don't know, remake follow-up. I have a feeling it'll just be called something totally different, just kind of be a reimagining of the same concept. But I don't know. I'm actually a fan of Mark Lester. I mean, I joked about it earlier, Pterodactyl, but it's actually a pretty entertaining, you know, Sci-Fi Channel creature feature that actually starred Coolio. So, you know, the guy's a fairly talented director. So hopefully he'll get to direct the follow-up. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, we're kind of like on the borderline. Do you want to do the musical break now? Yeah. What do we got? We got 3 left. Yeah, we got 3 left, and I figured since this one does follow the movie, correct? Yeah, this is true. I guess we'll jump into our little interlude a little bit early, and tonight's song is from Class of 1984. So we will be back in 3 minutes and 45. I'm just giving you a heads up, Dan, there. So not long enough for a hot pocket. We'll see. Sorry. All right, we'll be back.
When does a dream become a nightmare? When do we do what must be done? When do we stand and face the future? When there is nowhere left to run? You got to learn just how to survive. You got to learn how to keep your dream alive. Take a
And we are back, correct, Todd?
We are.
Of course, the great Alice Cooper. It made sense this week, but I got to say, I'm still waiting for Poultrygeist. We'll have to crank that one out next week.
I told you, I'm making you wait. You know when I don't announce. You know when I don't tell you what the song is, I guess. This is the last week I'm telling you the song now.
Well, I do look forward to it. All good things come to
I'm just going to warn you now. I'm just warning you now. You won't have time for a Hot Pocket break. Most of the Poultrygeist songs are kind of short.
I don't know. I remember one. Well, I guess they're not too long. We'll see. I need to do this show by the microwave so I have time. Sometimes I do. These Goblin, I have time to make a Hot Pocket. Alice Cooper, I guess not. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm doing good.
Maybe we'll throw in Freebird one week and you'll have time to go cook a pizza or something.
There we go. Plenty of time. Maybe I don't know. Maybe when 31 eventually comes out, we'll throw one out there. Yes. I guess we'll do our last retro one for the evening. Long Weekend, and the first of actually 2 Aussie horror films tonight, which I'm a huge fan of. And Long Weekend is a 1978 film, and excuse me, and it from the back cover, attempting to resurrect their failing marriage, Peter and Marcia set out on a camping trip to a deserted stretch of Australian coastline, hoping a long weekend in the sunshine will help them patch their differences. They are a careless couple, littering the countryside with garbage, shooting guns, and even driving away after wounding a kangaroo with their automobile. Their callous disregard for the environment soon becomes apparent when the animals start to seek vengeance. Marcia and Peter have proven themselves to be destroyers of nature. Will the animals allow them to leave, or will they too be destroyed? So, and I should say this is from director Colin Eggleston. This is one I've wanted to talk about for a long time, actually. I'm a huge fan of Aussie cinema, and I think this is one of the best. Certainly one of the more serious and original, I think, at that time. There were a lot of similar 70s flicks, and Frogs, actually, very different film, but still kind of the nature striking back theme. But I've always found this one particularly clever. It actually inspired a remake that not a lot of people are aware of, called Nature's Grave. About 4 or 5 years ago with Jim Caviezel. I think it was actually also released in some areas as Long Weekend.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think I recall. I don't know if it was the UK Blu-ray or what.
German.
But,
there's a couple.
German, okay.
There's a couple different ones that do have it under that title. I think we're the only one who have it as Nature's Grave.
Yeah, that could be it. We didn't even get a Blu-ray, unfortunately. But I
have to tell you, I saw the DVD at a major pharmacy chain for $1.99 on the racks.
It's actually on some packs too, I believe. It's paired with I think I don't know, like Bloody Murder 2 or something. But the remake's out there if you want to see it. I think this film is a masterpiece. It's as timely as ever, and just really, really clever. It's a very subtle, eerie movie. I've defended it over the years because some people just don't like the idea that the pace and everything. But I find just this couple's sort of descent, into just completely imploding in their relationship and just the catastrophic things that they do just casually, just the casual cruelty, with nature and some of the animals in this film. It's nothing too upsetting in the way of cannibal holocaust or anything if you're debating whether to watch it, but it's all very slow burn, very thoughtful. Like I said, it's not a gore flick. You're not just necessarily seeing animals rip them apart. It's all done in just a very clever, creepy way where they slowly realize that these aren't coincidences. They're being hunted, basically. And I just really like this one. It's a commentary on humankind's casual destruction and, how it's kind of coming back to bite us in the ass. Todd, you're from California. It's going to be like Waterworld without the water soon, I think. It's a pretty timely film, and Synapse, as always, did a fantastic job. It is, though, unfortunately, it's pretty sparse on the extras, but you do get an audio commentary and kind of a audio interview with John Hargreaves, who's fantastic Aussie actor. You probably, if you're into that, you probably recognize him from other stuff. It's if you really want to see a 70s flick that isn't terribly well known, unfortunately, the remake didn't really take off. I still remember preferring this one. The remake, though, is definitely worth watching. I really enjoy it, and there's some revelations in this that were pretty deep, I thought, with the couple, why they're fighting, and it's good stuff. It's good, intelligent horror that I think you can appreciate. If anybody could criticize it for anything, maybe it goes on, not to reveal spoilers, but a little bit too long at the end, where at a couple points it probably could have ended and left it more of an impact. But overall, I think this is a nearly perfect film. And as far as the movie goes, I kind of want to give it 5. But, being that I have a couple minor pacing issues towards the end, I'll give it 4.5. But I'd still say this is a must-see if you enjoy, certainly if you enjoy, Ozploitation and, and if you're like me and love the Not Quite Hollywood documentary, this is certainly one of the definitive flicks that you will see featured in that fantastic documentary, and one to definitely
I have to ask you, would you call this Ozploitation? What is the definition on that one?
Yeah, that's why I kind of stuck to Aussie cinema at the beginning. It's really not. But I don't. Yeah, it's definitely one of the more thoughtful, titles. Yeah. It's not a turkey shoot or, which I love. Like I said, a turkey shoot, Dead End Drive-In. It's a endless sea of awesomeness from them. Hell, it looks like we're getting a proper reimagining of Mad Max coming up, so hopefully that'll spark more interest. I will say, and there are a lot that are still not available from, because if you watch that documentary, even some of the more comedic films, which I've never actually really seen, I've seen a couple, but they're still not available here. So hopefully Synapse and some of these companies can really work to getting them released here stateside in proper editions. But in terms of just quality, just real quality original horror, this is towards the front of the pack, and is well worth picking up. Like I said, As far as the disc itself, I mean, it definitely could have been better, but it works. The extras are not they're a bit sparse, but it still gets a 3 from me in terms of the extras and the packaging. So yeah, long weekend. If you've never seen it before, check it out. I think it's a really cool movie, and yeah. And I should actually also throw out that Briony Behet's the other the actress in this, because it's basically a 2-person show, is also fantastic. I really enjoyed this, and I don't know. I'm actually tempted to go and watch the remake again, because I've only watched it once, and I can't quite remember what I felt about it. So that might be my post-show watch. So, yes, moving on to our final 2 films of the evening.
Wait, you jumped up. I also would give it. Wait, did you give it 4.5?
Oh, yeah. Well, the movie I gave 4.5. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on par with that. I agree with the extras. I kind of wish we would have got a little bit more on that one. But I'm satisfied with what we got. I mean, we weren't missing anything from the previous release. I don't want to sound greedy because I know we've gotten spoiled with new content. But overall package was everything was ported over. Great transfer, top-notch transfer. And look forward to more work from Synapse.
Absolutely. They're a fantastic company. Like I said, they don't release in super high volume like a lot of companies do. Although I know, I assume you collect the Impulse line as I do. But yeah.
I'm a little behind. I got some gaps in that one, but yes.
Yeah, I'm some of the Nikatsu stuff. I am missing a lot of the new ones. I think I have.
I'm behind. And I know I'm behind on the school. I'm behind on the schoolgirl ones. What are we up to now? 12?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think it's right around there.
I think I'm up to 8. I got to catch up.
Yeah, the Nikatsu line. I mean, they're getting close to like 30 titles. I have roughly the first 20. I am behind on that. I think Vinegar Syndrome gets a lot of my exploitation dollar now, so it's like I kind of have to spread it around a little bit. But
yeah, I know. I hope we get a nice Synapse sale. That'd be nice.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I have most of the stuff from Synapse because, like I said, particularly outside of the more erotic line, because they but when they do release it, it tends to be pretty fantastic packages. I mean, there's no denying they're a quality company.
Yeah, and some people would say that it's the better route to go, because I know we haven't touched upon it, but I know there's been complaints about the quality control coming out of Scream Factory, and with all of their stuff that's coming out. One thing I didn't mention, I have to just tell you because it bothered me. I mean, It's just a dumb thing. On the menus for Class of '84, for like History Repeats Itself was one of the ones. It would be interview with Mark Lester and Lilo Schifrin. It said interviews by Mark Lester and Lilo Schifrin. It said that for all of them. Instead of with, it had by. And I thought it was like really, really weird because the back packaging has the correct verbiage with instead of by. Because by implies the other one interviewing, not the one interviewing.
Yeah, I mean, I love Scream Factory like most people, but they're not flawless. I mean, they've definitely made their share of mistakes. So,
all I know is I got their, well, not theirs, South Factory's Eddie and the Cruisers double feature. I'm hoping for good things on that one.
Are you a fan of those films?
Oh, yeah. The first one, 100%. The second one wasn't as good, but I still liked it. But, yeah, 100, yeah. I still have the soundtrack on vinyl. I'll
have to fish it out if I still have it. I don't know if I do, but I have a a Michael Parr autograph. I think it's from the second one. I'll have to send it to you because I'm not really a big. I mean, I'm a fan of Michael Parr, just not really those movies. So I'll have to fish that out.
Sweet.
So yes, moving on to our next film, which is From the Dark. From the Dark is from director Conor Mcmahon, and when a couple embark on a road trip through the Irish countryside, car trouble lands them in a place that few people would choose to visit. Kind of the setup for a lot of horror movies. When something sinister is awakened from 1,000-year slumber deep within the dark fog, the couple is faced with an unimaginable evil. They soon realize that light is their only protector, but as the sun sets and light sources dwindle, the creature becomes more powerful, and they are in for the fight of their lives. So, Todd, what did you think?
I ended really liking this one. I didn't know going in what we were getting into, so we were like, ooh, it's $10, we should grab that.
Yeah.
And Dark Sky's got a pretty solid record lately. They're kind of like IFC lately with putting out some just quality stuff. I thought it was I guess I don't want to say a monster movie, but it kind of jeez. I guess well, would you say it's a monster movie? I mean, it's kind of, I don't want to be spoilers, but how would you define?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yes, it is.
Evil.
There's
okay.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was struggling with that one. But yeah, I mean, it's it's always been those basic scenarios. You're trapped in one place. You got something trying to get in. It's it sounds basic, but those are a lot of the times the most effective. Because you relate to being. I mean, you could be trapped in your house, something trying to get in. I mean, it can be a scary situation, and I thought this one was effective. It was. I'm gonna have to assume on this because I always get scared. It seems scary. I mean, Dan, would you call it scary? Yeah.
It's definitely a suspenseful flick.
Yeah.
We say monster flick. There's no CG in this. It's all it's all old school stuff. The worst thing you can say about it, like you said, was it is all pretty basic stuff. I mean, there's nothing new here in theory. I mean, it's a collection of ideas from other horror flicks, and it's pretty much just this couple trying to survive in this house from this evil that's excuse me, repelled by light. And obviously there's quite a few things you could compare this to. It definitely goes the let's not show too much of the creature route, and it's a bit more suspense driven, which is a good thing. There's a lot of exciting stalk and chase moments. Not a little bloodbath again, but it had a few nasty bits. It's no backstory. It's a basic setup, but hey, they do it right, and I can't think of too many people that would have an issue with that.
I mean, you kind of say this was Leprechaun Origins done right.
Yeah,
just for an Ireland.
Yes, they should have had Conor do the new Leprechaun movie. Don't even bring that up though, because goddamn, that movie still pisses me off every time I think about it. But yeah,
we got No Malone.
Huh?
I said, but at least we got No Malone to kind of rectify it.
Yeah. I'm just going to consider that the actual Leprechaun.
There's a Leprechaun movie that works.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean I can't see anybody that generally enjoys creature features not liking this. I mean, it's not a classic, and you'll compare it to a lot of stuff. The creature is very Nosferatu-like.
Yeah.
You'll kind of have you'll compare this to all sorts of things. There were some moments that reminded me of Jeepers Creepers, The Descent, Pitch Black, of course, with the whole light angle. But
yeah.
hey, I don't mind seeing something I've seen before. You know, you can tell me a story I've seen before if you tell it well, and there is a bit more to it. It's not solely just a monster and them fighting against the monster. There is a little bit more to it, but if you want a really solid suspense-driven monster flick, I definitely recommend it. It wastes no time, and yeah, I all I can say is I kind of hope if we get another Leprechaun movie that they put Seamus in it this time. Just kind of have like mecha Leprechaun. That's what I would like to see. He's kind of looking pretty creepy these days. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Which is Coolio braided in his beard,
facial hair. That kind of takes away the Irish badass cred for me. Men don't braid their facial hair. I'm sorry.
Yeah, not unless you're Dubsy from the West Side Connection. I think that's something that gets a pass.
Yeah. But no. I mean, for me, this film, like I said, it's not a classic. You know, it's not, you know, the new face of horror. It's not Jeepers Creepers or The Descent. But if you enjoy, you know, just a good monster flick, you know, a little more, you know, to the monster. This definitely has sequel potential. I could possibly see them doing a sequel to this and kind of, you know,
very well made, very well acted. We didn't mention that. It is all around. I mean, sometimes we use that when we're searching for stuff, so it didn't come up first. But because this was overall an enjoyable film.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable. Just like I said, although strangely enough, a lot of people are apparently complaining about it, you know, just not being, I don't know, original, which I've always said I love original horror. You know, there's several movies that you've listed for a long time I constantly throw out there as being original and worthy of that praise. But like I said, you can tell me the same story if you tell it well, and this one worked for me. And very natural actors, too. They didn't feel like, you know, a typical sort of cliche, even though you have that major cliche of, you know, going out for, you know, and getting your car broken down in the middle of nowhere. But the characters felt natural, which is always a good thing. So for me, I give this one 4 stars. I can't think of anything major to complain about except, you know, there are some better examples of the genre, but it's still a pretty fantastic little flick.
Exactly what I've written down is 4 on this one, so no shocker. I kind of figured we'd both be on par with this one. Yeah, and actually the same director did Stitches, I believe, the clown slasher flick, which I still need to watch, which I hear I'm missing out.
You have not? You haven't seen that?
No, I have not. I have the Blu-ray. I just have not got to watching it yet.
That's a good time. I think you'll enjoy that one. Very, very different flick. I'm pretty sure it was Conor McMahon that did it. That's going to bug me, so I'm just going to double check to make sure.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm just going to mention on our next review a couple things. One, it is available on Netflix if you guys haven't seen it and want to check it out if you have Netflix streaming. And 2, we're going to do this review a little bit different tonight. We're going to do a normal review, and since there is a bit of more discussion that would be considered spoilers to do with the ending, we'll let you guys know so you can shut off. We're going to get into spoilers, so we don't want to spoil it for if you have not seen it. And, then you can, if you have Netflix, you can go watch it streaming and then hear our thoughts on the ending. But, yeah, we don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't, which is, hopefully you're listening because you want to know. So we'll give you that heads up before we get into it.
Absolutely. And our film is The Babadook, another Aussie horror flick from writer-director Jennifer Kent and this one follows Amelia, played by Ezzie Davis, who is a single mother plagued by the violent death of her husband. When a disturbing storybook called Mr. Babadook turns up at her house, she is forced into a battle with her son's deep-seated fear of a monster. Soon she discovers a sinister presence all around her. Kind of goes on with some acclaim. So this is actually a film that I had the pleasure of seeing very early at a Alamo Drafthouse screening last year sometime. I can't remember when it was. And it had some great hype. I remember talking to the owner of the theater who's actually there watching it, who's very excited about it. And I actually had high hopes, and it really delivered for me. This is a film where a lot's going on. Certainly not just a monster flick at all. It's really a story of. It's a story that I think a lot of women and even just couples with children can relate to, where she's just beaten down to the point that she just can't enjoy her child, who's very difficult and has some behavioral issues that have just been, really beating away at her. And the whole movie for me is really kind of a story that shows what can happen when you don't deal with your demons. And it's very, very clever. And I have to say, in terms of acting, Ezzie Davis, none better. I mean, it's a crime against cinema and our genre if she doesn't turn up in some more horror flicks. I mean, she can do whatever she wants as far as I'm concerned, but I certainly hope that she's in more. Just a wide range of emotions, just everything just in her face. I mean, I can't say enough good things about it. This is the second time I've watched it looking for something to complain about, and it's just not there. I think it's unique, original. It's really about something more than just being terrorized by a supernatural presence. And Todd, I could kind of go on a long time about this one. What did you think?
This is my first time going in on this one. I know it feels like it took me forever to see it. And I agree with everything you said. I went in kind of knowing a little basically about the book, but that was pretty much it. I tried to go in blind. And I really loved it too. And I know one of the complaints was it's slow, but not just slow, it's really slow. I didn't think it was. I mean, it is definitely, it's building up to something, but I never thought it was slow. There was always something going on. I mean, yeah, you're not seeing body parts cut off, ghosts moving, sit around the whole movie or anything like that. It is definitely, a character piece, which sometimes can go either way, but I thought this was perfect. And I'm even holding off on my bad joke because this is such a good movie. Although I don't know, I think some of it could have got solved if the kid wouldn't interrupt her when she was about to get her nut. But that's just me.
I know that would have solved the whole thing if she just got played. No more Babadook.
Yeah, that's all it would have took. But yeah, I had to take it to the gutter. That's just me.
You and the Ron Jeremy cameo.
Oh my gosh! Can you imagine if he was the Babadook?
That would have been kind of funny, just the whole hat and everything, and then he just.
I think we just wrote "This Ain't the Babadook."
Yeah. Somehow I don't think Jennifer Kent would have gone in our direction.
Yeah. Well, there's everything. This ain't, the Triple X parody. If they can do a Human Centipede, they can do this one.
I wonder what would be in the pop-up book. In the porn parody.
Wow. And we can't stay out of the gutter, but that's just us. But yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
It happens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, geez, I already want to talk about the other stuff. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the acting, spot on, the foreshadowing in the book. The book was really cool too. It was shot beautifully. The script was great. I don't know what to say bad about this.
Well, you know,
not that I want to.
One person in particular that did not like it, Chris McGibbon, our friend and founder. He did not care for it. And in fact, I don't want to say that he hated it, but he definitely thought it was overhyped. And I'm sorry, watching it twice, I don't think it's overhyped at all. I mean,
yeah, but
and as far as
I know a lot of times I can't play him with a lot of people, but I should say this happens to people in general. People will tend to believe the hype, and that can't affect them. I just look at all the hype, because I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit. I just ignore it, because I can go either way, hype or no hype. But some people, get excited because of the hype and then get let down. And I think that may be what happened with Chris on that one, because he didn't express any hate for it. He just was like, I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever. But you know what? It didn't have zombies.
That's true. But I don't know. I this is one that I really have to talk to him more in depth, because I didn't really know. I thought, you know what, maybe I'm watching it the second time and I'll not enjoy it as much. I really did. And I've got to say to anybody that thinks it's slow, I don't know, if you find this slow, then you're going to find most, I don't know, great supernatural horror flicks. I mean, even going way back to classics like Black Sunday. I mean, I didn't find this film boring at all. Watching it, I think the pace is great, and it's not, like I said, it's not just your typical empty ghost flick with just random jump scares and the same plot you've seen 50,000 times. There's so much more to this. There's a lot that, like I said, a lot of viewers may be able to relate to, because there are situations, I mean, we all know people in situations where they're absolutely exhausted from work and, home life, dealing with kids, and particularly when you have a difficult child. And it's like I said, it's always great when you can have a horror movie that is really about something. And this is, like I said, about something far more than just a supernatural monster, which is very compelling in its own right. I don't know if we'll get a Babadook 2, though. I kind of hope not. Somehow I just think with this one, leave it at one and done, because I don't know that they'd be able to recapture the same magic.
Yeah.
It would be a tricky sequel.
I'm kind of, I was thinking about this. I'm really shocked. A major studio didn't grab this, and even if not, just to bury it so they could do their American take on it. Because I'm glad it didn't happen, but I could have seen them doing that like they do with foreign movies they want to do their take on.
I think that could still be coming. Actually, I'm going to call it right now and say sometime in the next 5 years we're going to have a Babadook, probably starring, I don't know, Ryan Reynolds and the Hunger Games chick or something. Who knows? Well, I guess Ryan Reynolds has the mind of a 6-year-old. He could probably pull it off. It's not a couples movie.
He was good in the voices.
He was good in the voices. Actually, I'm a fan of his. I don't know why I took a shot at him. He's not the best example. I think Channing Tatum is what I wanted to say. It'd probably be Channing Tatum. And,
I was going to say, did you watch Green Lantern last night?
Huh?
I was going to say, did you watch Green Lantern last night and something to get pissed?
Oh, okay. I thought you were, talking about a new superhero show. I was like, no, wait a minute. I know Daredevil.
No, I was talking about the Ryan Reynolds film.
Strangely enough, that one, compared to some that I've seen, that one wasn't that bad. I mean, I don't know. I've seen some shittier superhero flicks. I didn't think that was unusually bad, but I'm not a big fan.
I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, I'm not huge. Unless it's Superman 3, don't fuck with Superman 3. That's my shit. drunk Superman, Superman finding himself, Richard Pryor. It's like a great exploitation movie.
Hey, they may remake that with Chris Tucker. You never know. He's doing movies other than Rush Hour now. But
unless
I mean, as far
Friday.
as huh?
I said unless it's last Friday, I don't care.
Yeah, I was gonna say a guy that makes 2 movies in 18 years. He's not doing too bad, I guess. But yeah, no. I mean, Babadook. This is one where you can believe the hype, and there was some rumblings that it was a very good film when I saw it last year, but it wasn't all over the place like it is now, where people are ranting and raving over it. And I thought it was pretty damn good in theaters too. It's one of those ones you just scratch your head and thinking, God, why didn't somebody just grab this and put it in there and give? I mean, if a break from the typical ghost crap, this would have been something that I think a lot. I mean, mainstream audiences, I think, will love this. Not that we necessarily have maybe the bulk or not mainstream horror listeners, but if you do know somebody who is not generally into horror, or complains that, it's all just blood and tits and exploitation, this is one.
Such a horrible complaint, too.
Yeah, it is a horrible complaint.
I did have to say, as soon as I was done with this, I was like, I want to show my wife this one. So.
Yes, this is one that, if you're always frustrated that you can't go and show somebody Hostel or, some of the more hardcore stuff, past or present. This is a safe one. This is one you can say, hey, look, our genre, it can be intelligent. Just show them this, show them old Cronenberg stuff, and they'll hopefully be happy.
Don't try to pull Last House on the Left for date nights.
No. The only reason I bring up Hostel is I took a date to see Hostel, and it did not go very well. I got a lecture, and I was kind of hoping she would just leave so I could enjoy the movie. I didn't even get to enjoy Hostel until I saw it, on DVD. So, yes.
Should have done the popcorn trick.
Oh, no, trust me, it wouldn't have worked. This was I got a big speech about Hostel. So it was, I didn't even know whether I liked the movie or not when I first saw it, because I was just like, God damn it. Will you shut up? But no.
So now you just I must review this. I don't need to hear your lecture.
Yes.
That's all you
I'm
do.
just too damn polite. Yeah, that was my, yeah. Hostel was pre-podcast days, so.
That's all you got to do now.
For me. That's all.
So
that's all I have to do.
Yeah. Whenever you take a date to Rob Zombie's Paranormal Activity, White Trash Edition, there you go.
I still have to tell you, actually a friend of mine that listened to the show said he thinks that would be fucking awesome if we did a Rob Zombie version of Paranormal Activity. And he's not even a Rob Zombie fan. He still thinks it would actually maybe breathe some new life into it. So I'm still throwing it out there. Rob Zombie's the person to do Paranormal Activity, just redneck style. It would be It would be awesome. Like I said, just Sherry Moon calling the ghost a cunt. That's all I want to see. But yes, sidetracked again. Well, I guess at this point, we don't normally do this with movies, but a lot of people had strong opinions on the ending of Babadook. So I guess we can say, because there's no TV terror talk tonight, so if you were tuning in for that, we're sorry. That'll be returning soon, though. At this point, we're getting into spoilers, so if you haven't watched it yet, and you should definitely watch it. Like I said, it is original, it's different, and that is reason enough to give it a shot, because how often do we see that? So ending-wise...
I'd say, well, real quick, I say yes, just definitely go buy it. I guess we'll rate the film too before we get out on.
Oh, yeah, that's true. 5 stars, obviously.
Yeah, 5 stars for me too. Overall package, I thought it was really good. There's a lot more extras than I thought.
Tons.
Yeah, packaging wise, 5 also. I just came the cool little pop up. The book packaging slipcover was nice.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, that is limited. So if anyone likes special packaging, grab it now. And although we're recommending you to buy this one, this is definitely it's a 5. As I mentioned earlier, it is available on Netflix streaming because this is an IFC/Scream Factory title, and the IFC stuff tends to go quick. So if you want to check it out, try it before you buy. It is on Netflix streaming. So now go watch it, come back, and then you can hear our thoughts on the ending. Okay.
Absolutely. And like I said, hit up our Facebook page. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'll make a Babadook posting. So, yes, Todd, what did you think of the ending? Because some people have issues. I think that was one issue that Chris had, although that wasn't the only one.
I like open-ending stuff that's up for discussion, up for, thought. I was fine with the ending. I mean, I'll go with my take first. I don't know because there's a few different camps. I think it was the husband. Or some form
I
of
thought
him.
of that. I had thought of that. I don't think it was literally the husband, though. I think it was, in a strange way, I don't know, her... I guess I'm not overthinking it as much as some people, but I almost viewed it as sort of like her distraction or her, because she just couldn't connect with anybody anymore, so it was like her pet almost. I mean, she wasn't... I think towards the end of it, she really didn't fully emerge from the darkness, so to speak. I think she really sort of enjoyed a very, let's just say, unconventional relationship of some kind. I mean, it's
right.
I don't know.
That's the other thing I was thinking was, to kind of went with the on the nose one first, was the like her dark side, and that's to keep it in bay. It was kept in the basement to feed the evil side of her. It was the other way I was looking at it. Kind of similar to what you were going with, too.
That is actually a pretty interesting take on it. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't think anybody's necessarily right or wrong about it. A lot of people really, though, just tended to be like, she's keeping it as a pet. That seems to be the complaint, and I think it is one where, if you go back and think about it, because at first, I remember in the theater, I didn't know quite what I thought about that ending when I first saw it. I was thinking, God, if this maybe had one drawback, it was the ending. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and thought about like the different, what it was trying to say, sort of deals. And my initial theory on it may not have been as realistic as far as the whole relationship thing goes, but like I said, it's making you think, it's making you talk about it.
I like my second theory.
I guess my whole thing was like a relationship she could control. I mean, she could control it at that point, and she just, I could get into a lot of deep psychological stuff, I suppose, but that's sort of how I viewed it. Maybe like some twisted, supernatural S&M slave sort of situation. I don't know. The movie's not really kinky, but I don't know. That's probably my mind.
Yeah. I'm going to go with my second thought first, because the first thing that popped, and the only reason that even popped in my head about it being some form of the father was, when do I get to meet him? Just the kid saying that. And the more I like the idea of it. That's like her keeping the evil.
Well, you don't know anything about the father. I mean,
we
maybe
don't.
The father wasn't such a nice guy. You don't really know.
Yeah. The only thing we know is, and And how did the book get there? And there's all that too.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, assuming he was a loving, that could actually be a really interesting twist if they did do a follow-up, which I don't think is a good idea, and I don't necessarily think they will. If anything, it'll be a remake, but maybe to reveal that he was like an abusive asshole, and that could explain, you know, she still has the trauma, but the trauma at the same time is raising a kid alone, so it couldn't necessarily just be about missing the guy. Maybe he was a dick, you know. Hell, maybe they had some sort of a fight that started that led to the accident or something, and now the end of that was her, like, you know, oh, there you are, sort of deal. I don't know. There's a lot of intriguing psychological points they could hit if they really wanted to, but I don't know. I love this film. I definitely think everybody should check it out.
I agree 100%.
So there you go. I don't know, Chris. Give it another shot. I don't know if he saw this on demand or how he saw it. I don't know if it's the best one to see in a theater, particularly if you have a lot of annoying kids or something, or teenagers in the theater. I was lucky because I kind of saw it at a festival with a bunch of film geeks, so you don't have the typical, you know, sort of asshole reaction sitting behind you and reacting to everything. Yeah, certainly one of the best films that I saw. Well, maybe the best, or one of the top two films that I saw last year, and I'm sure technically, since it came out here this year, that it'll be on our Flesh Wound Radio Awards show for sure. Certainly the performance, because Ezzie Davis, it doesn't get much better, and I hope to see her stick with the genre and do more work. So this is rare, Todd. We're actually done without getting booted live today.
I know, I'm a little confused. I just looked at the clock, and we're not rushing, trying to squeeze anything in, and I think our two solo reviews helped us out tonight. We may have to stick to 4 each in the future.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we're done early. I don't know about you, but I think my post-show plans, I've got a Cronenberg flick to watch, his new film Maps to the Stars. So I think that's what I'm going to sit down to watch. Not a horror title, unfortunately, so we couldn't. I was going to suggest doing it, but it doesn't really qualify. Apparently, this one, I've heard some good things. I mean, of course, I'm a Cronenberg fanatic.
I have that one myself too.
Oh, you did pick it up? Apparently, I don't know, there's like some unglamorous stuff with Julianne Moore in this one. She gets naked, of course. She's like the Helen Mirren of her generation, where I think she's just going to keep getting naked, no matter how old she gets.
Well, good for her, I guess.
Absolutely. I didn't say it was a bad thing. So that's what I will be enjoying post-show, I think. I will say, did you get to watch, because I know last week it was the Scientology documentary. Did you get to watch that yet?
I have not watched it yet. It's still on my DVR. And actually, I think that's the route I'm taking. Going to get some stuff off the DVR, so maybe I will watch that tonight. I think
I'll grab some. Tom Cruise is creepy before.
Okay.
It sheds some light on his creepiness.
Well, that's always fun.
Yeah.
Will I ever look at risky business the same?
No, you won't. I don't know, man. I don't get how people fall into that crap, because, my God, is it out there? It's just, I watched that documentary, and there's just some really obviously cult-like shit. The leader is, I mean, a walking horror film. I'm just waiting for like a mass Kool-Aid thing where we're going to hear, you know, Travolta and Tom Cruise are dead and record some video rendezvousing with the spaceship. I don't know. It's a good documentary and very, very scary. But yeah. But anyways, well, we're going to wrap early tonight, I guess. Next, well, over the next 2 shows, I know we're going to have an interview, and at some point I know we'll have reviews for A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, new vampire flick from Iran, of all places, that's getting a lot of acclaim, and we'll have reviews for Motivational Growth, Cell Count, the new Ghoulies release that we're all looking forward to, and several other things at some point. So tune in, and Todd, if you have anything to add?
I don't. I'm just kind of shocked I actually get to play the outro where we're actually both speaking. I feel a little bit more from Class 84 for a little outro. So a little bit of the chase music I think I picked. Still got some dialogue in there, so don't get confused. I remember that one time we came back and we had some drama dialogue going on.
Yeah. Well, sweet. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, and don't forget to listen Sunday for the recently returned Creepshow Radio Sundays, and on Tuesdays the calling hours. And we will be back next week on Thursday. Yeah.
Call in and tell Chris you loved Babadook and he's full of shit. So there you go.
There you go. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Come and get a teacher.
With AT&T, take your U.S. plan to Mexico at no extra charge. When you choose an eligible plan, place calls, send text, and enjoy your plan data in Mexico like in the U.S. It's that easy. AT&T, mobilizing your world. Subject to plan rates, terms, international fees, overage charges, or data speeds. Restrictions apply. See store for plan details.